Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man, and Jonathan Holling is a second-year trainee solicitor at JMW and currently in the commercial property department. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Dominic. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Jonathan. So I wanted to get some top tips from you to how to get a training contract. And I guess maybe the first place to start is that all-important application form. So what are your tips, your hints on filling in the application form?
Yeah, the application form is obviously really, really important. That is your first impression, I guess, that you're giving to the firm. It's the first time that they're going to be reading all about you. So I think the first thing to do is to give yourself plenty of time to get the application in. You don't want to be doing it at the last minute. You want to be able to consider your answers carefully before you submit the application. You want to be thinking about, what's going to make you stand out on the application. Obviously, the firm receives a lot of applications every single year. So as well as all the basics, you want to make sure that there's something on there that jumps out at the person who's reading it to make them want to interview you, to make them want to find out more about what's going to make you a fantastic trainee and why essentially they should give you a training contract. It is the first impression, so obviously getting the basics right is really important. Check it again, get someone else to check it before you submit it to make sure, the last thing you want is a typo on your application that could just ruin everything. So check, and then when you've checked it, check it again, because you can never check it too much. Make sure that it's accurate and that it's absolutely 100% correct and truthful, because there's a very good chance that at the interview, the panel are going to be going through your application and asking you very specific questions about it. So it's important to get the application right to start with.
And you mentioned about standing out in your application. I know that JMW generally have a panel of partners then for the interview stage. So you've got your application in, your application's obviously caught somebody's eye, you're offered that interview. Is it important to do some preparation before the interview?
Yeah, preparation is everything for the interview. Because you're not quite sure what's going to come up at the interview, but there are some things that you're going to be asked about. For example, you're going to need to show you've done your research about the firm and why you want to work for JMW, for example. And I think what I did when I was doing research on the firm is trying to go a little bit deeper and trying to find out stuff that might not necessarily just be on the front page of the website, but spending a lot of time as part of that preparation going through the website, the social media, the blogs, the LinkedIn, the YouTube channel. And you really want to almost show off in a way and prove that you've done that fantastic level of detail in your research. Probably more than maybe another applicant may have done, and that's going to make you stand out. It's going to show that you've got that eye for detail. I think also as part of the preparation is you need to know the panel. So in advance of the interview, you will be told who's going to be on that interview panel, not just the department that they work in, but also, what work do they specialize in particularly. Again, have a look at their blogs, have a look at their social media. And it goes back to that level of detail when you're doing your research. So, if you bring something up in an interview, for example, if you refer to a key case that the firm has been involved in, make sure you've actually read the case and you think about maybe, what are the wider implications and what's the effect, what was the outcome, because you're going to be asked about it potentially. If you bring it up at the interview, be prepared to take questions on it throughout the interview. If you're interested in a particular area of law and you want to do a particular seat, then again, make sure that you are aware of the latest current developments in that particular area of law, because again, there's a good chance you're going to be asked about that. You might want to look at how the firm markets itself, how the firm attracts new business. Business development as a trainee is really important. You might want to have a look at the legal market generally in Manchester. Who are the firm's competitors? What does the legal market look like? I almost prepared for my interview like it was an exam. I almost felt like I was revising, and I practiced in front of the mirror, and I practiced in front of someone, and I rehearsed my answers. But also the other thing is, on the day, you need to be prepared to be asked questions which you can't prepare for. because, you know, the panel are going to want to know that you can think on your feet. So be prepared for the things you can't prepare for, as well as the things you can prepare for, if that sort of makes sense.
And you've briefly mentioned the interview there. I mean, I think it's natural for anybody to be nervous, and you've given us that insight of in front of the mirror. What are your tips for interview day itself?
I think, you know, be confident, but not overconfident. You know, you as a trainee, you've got to show that willingness to learn. That's really important. But, you know, if you're giving an answer or an opinion, you know, you've got to have the confidence in what you're saying. Because I think, you know, your demeanor and how you come across at the interview is so important. Ultimately, the panel are going to be looking at you and thinking, you know, can I put this person in front of my clients? How is that person going to come across? So your confident demeanor is really important. I think, you know, have an opinion. You know, essentially, you are going to be asked for opinions at the interview. So I think, you know, have an opinion. I don't think potentially there's right or wrong answers, as long as you can back up your opinion. You know, don't sit on the fence. I think be 100% honest. You know, if you aren't genuinely being yourself, you know, the very experienced lawyers sat in front of you are very much going to be able to pick up on that. So be yourself. Again, if you can't answer a particular question, I remember in my interview, there was a question I just couldn't answer for whatever reason. Just be honest about it. You know, just be upfront and just say that you can't answer that question, rather than waffling and trying to make something up, because again, they will see through that. And I think as hard as it is and as difficult it is, try and enjoy the experience, you know, because it's stressful, yes, but the people interviewing you, they've seen your application, they've seen something on there that's got you to that interview stage in the first place. So, you know, they're going to be willing you to do well. So I think just relax, enjoy it, be confident, do your preparation, and, you know, enjoy the experience.
Jonathan, thank you very much for your time and for your insight. And for anybody watching this who's about to apply to be a trainee at JMW Solicitors, good luck. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.